It's really like the time just keeps going faster and faster. Truthfully, is the quickening. It's good to see everyone on this live stream today. The storm of the century is here, and what does it mean for the United States? We just were rocked with a very powerful piece of solar activity, and now we're going to see a lot of the physical changes. I've been sharing over the past few years things in this reality. It happens energetically, and then you're going to see the physical manifestation of some of these things. So we're coming face to face with the storm of the century here. And in this chat and what I do, I'm going to be discussing the physical attributes because there is a real physical thing that is going on. And then I'm going to go to the energetic and spiritual meaning of this storm of the century. Many people have been bracing for a storm for quite some time. And now the storm has arrived. And this storm, it comes with cold, and I'm not a big fan of the cold. And it brought up a conversation for me yesterday, and I'll talk about traumas and how things in our life, when it pops up, and you might feel like you don't have control. Heck, do we actually have control in our life? So, and that's what it is. We'll see a lot of people gonna have to bunker down, and it is one last ditch effort to go within. In a post 2020 world, that was the main idea. When the main storm really occurred in 2020, this was a time period for you to go within, right? There was a big sorting, a big shakeup, and now we have more shakeups that are coming. Jen writes, it feels like a dream right now. It really does. Those that are in tune, you might be a person that's in tune to the energies. There's different people. Some people are numb to things. If you're getting this message today, you have the capabilities of tuning in. Even prior to me on my journey, I was not as in tune as I am now. And the more that you do this inner work, the more, and there's physical things like detoxification, which I do. Those that are on their spiritual awakening journey, I really show the world that there are physical things to do for your health. We have a spiritual immune system, a spiritual health that people kind of like shoved under the rug. So this is a very powerful time to get our house in order, because many people will have to stay home. And there is physical things that are dangerous from this time period that we're about to go through. So I'm very grateful that for everyone that's on the live stream. If you hear me on the podcast on YouTube Music, I appreciate you. Could you kindly click the like button? It allows others to get this notification, because the storm of the century is here. And what does it mean for the United States? So there are physical things that are occurring. And we are seeing this massive weather anomaly post solar flash, and that major solar activity, that major shakeup. We see things that are, or even if it's a body of air that is moving to locations that they don't belong. All right. I got the exploding trees warning. I don't know if you guys saw that on Facebook as well. There is an exploding trees warning, and I was actually really thinking about it. I don't think it's a joke. I was like really sitting and like, is this real? But when like down here, people freak out when it goes below freezing. uh, because there's plant life that exists here that it's not supposed to go below freezing, and it'll die. So maybe those trees have water in it, and it's supposed to go like 20 below zero, and maybe it would explode because it got so cold that it actually will get the water to freeze. And this is the weird stuff that we're experiencing. I'm going to share that on our Facebook. We'll break that down on Facebook later. Hit me up on Facebook. So we have a big stir-up that's happening, and it's happening. We could see it physically. It happened inside of you. A lot of people had a stir-up. I shared about it the other night. This is a time period where it's got to get so intense. You got to really listen carefully right now. It's got to get so intense where you finally let go. You got to finally let go of that old life. It's not your life no more. And especially for the United States, this is like a deep freeze. It's like a stop. It's like you really have to assess what is the life that we're actually living. Okay, This is a type of storm where, if you stay home, it's not really a mega disaster from winds and stuff, but you really got to stay off the roads. All right, I experienced something years ago. I tell everyone, take this very seriously, especially if you're in the ice zone. Do not try to. You will have no control. All right. And I'll talk about my story in a little bit. So when we look at the country, we see the country split in half with the ice wall. All right. So there's people that will not get ice above and then below, but then there's this line that like kind of slices right through the country, and there's an ice wall that's cutting it in half. All right. And that ice, you don't want to be in that ice. All right. When it gets people, I was talking to my parents, and going to the stores, you see everyone going crazy for the food. It's a time, and this is why we should always be preemptive to these things. A lot of people that are on this channel and listen to this content regularly, do you want to improve your everyday life? Right? You could click subscribe. I appreciate that. We're growing every single day. I'm very grateful for the community. You got to be preemptive, right? And when you know that these mega massive shakeups are happening, so this year, anyone that's new, this is the 1 year. It's time for a new beginning, and every new beginning, as the song once said, comes from some other beginning's end. And certain things must end once and for all. The micro and the macrocosm. The other night, I really had to put once and for all the finishing touches on the previous version of myself. A lot of people that are maybe hearing me for the first time today, you are running off of subconscious programs. You weren't even aware of these things that are actually creating a reality for you. Well, there's also other things like a country, for example. And the way that is run, or maybe the world is run, or reality, it's running off of subconscious programs that are fed by the collective. This is a time period where everyone has to stop. You have to go inside. You have to hunker down in the home, get your house in order, and then after it passes, then after all the ice melts and everything else, we have a brand new day. These are the things, but there's nothing that you could do during the storm. Sometimes in life, I've had many storms in my life. I'm tired of the storms. Okay, so now I get to teach about these things. I tell God, I say, listen, all right. I said I've been through enough. I'm done with these. That's it. Okay, but we all have to go through it. So and there's no right or wrong of this. A lot of people have gone through, depending on even where you have lived. All right. In my life, I've lived through many crazy things. I lived through Hurricane Sandy. Some people, remember that. I remember the chaos that it gave to my former students. It was a rough time, and you never seen anything like that. You see a hometown, and then you say, "Wow, like it's a total shakeup." But during that time period, and I've shared this. Okay, when you go through a very tough time, it brings out the best in a person, in a people. All right. So now, as we see this, and it's actually getting people not to actually stay in their homes. You got to. What are you focusing on? Where is your attention? Because in the world, a lot of people, they can't focus their attention. It's something I discuss. All right. If you want to truthfully improve your life and be spiritually strong, can you focus your attention? Some people can't. Attention spans are destroyed. Okay. Yes, Brandy, there is a bifurcation of the timelines that has happened. Okay, a lot of people are feeling this. A lot of people, you're tuned in, you're saying to yourself, I have these weird ascension symptoms in my body. Certain feelings are coming up to the surface. I don't understand. I'm witnessing glitches in the reality. If there's any person that's tuned in and you're just waking up to these things, you say, this sounds weird to me. I suggest that you research the Mandela effect. Okay, for what's a real life evidence that there's multiple realities going on, different timelines. Research the Mandela effect. Okay, and in your life, if you see one that really you say, I know for sure something's up. So there are different timelines that are popping off right now. And during this chaos, there is a quantum chaos. It's a video on this channel. If you say this guy sounds kind of interesting, you're going to watch my video on quantum chaos. None of this. Listen, sometimes I find myself curled up in the fetal position. It's crazy what's going on. But this is a time period where we need to relax. We need to go within. Ashley Gold writes, trust your intuition, trust your intuition. And a lot of so this sparks trauma in certain people when you go through the storm. The storm for the United States, a lot of people know about the storm for the United States. Do you know about it? Let us know in the comments. It stirs up a lot of trauma, and what I do here as a spiritual leader, as a person that is helping others to see the deeper picture and meaning to some of these things. You have to realize that in order to move forward in life, in order for a country to move forward, in order for the world to move forward, there are things from the past that must be dropped. Poppy loves you. I appreciate that. Do I really make a big difference in this world? Sometimes I'm just sitting alone on the beach. I say, what's going on? But God put me out on the beach alone to. Otherwise, I'm just telling you the truth. You don't see these things. You don't see these things when you're riddled with stress and anxiety, and you go. So right now we're in a deep freeze. It's coming, and we have to be frozen. And we have to stop. Everyone's got to stop. Everyone's got to say what is actually going on. And I'm sharing authentically. If I didn't go through time periods where I had to stop, I never would have seen the things that I see today. You will never see these things if you don't stop. So right now, especially in the United States, I know we're a global channel. I know the whole world is watching the United States right now, going through this massive. Even myself, I've seen this, and I share about this because people like to pump the fear, but I think that this snow is coming, this ice is coming. Really looking at this stuff, but maybe it isn't that bad. Maybe we don't know what to expect. We're going to a place. I told you this. Well, where are we going? We're going to destination unknown. There is actually unknown what's the magnitude of this storm. But when I look at the charts, when I'm looking at these things, and I see the country has an ice wall going right down the middle of it, right, splitting it in half. I see, and talking to people, and it's so widespread, but it's getting us to go within. It's getting us to stay inside. And it brings a lot of traumas up to the surface. And so I'm going to give you you say, oh, what do you do on this channel if you're new today? I'm going to break it down right now for you. So I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday, and we were having a conversation, and then I told her a story that I actually I forgot about that I lived through, and it was one of the most traumatic experiences of my life. So maybe you're a person, and so right now I'm going to give you an everyday life example. It's this is why I'm telling people, if you the next couple of days, please hear this message. Just stay home and do not go on the roads. Okay. I went through a very traumatic experience. And a lot of us in a post 2020 world, we have all been through a traumatic experience. We felt we were never in control, but we clearly see in a post 2020 world that we are not in control. And that makes us feel very uncomfortable. So I went through a traumatic experience years back. I was driving, and it didn't snow that day, but I guess like it was a time period. It was in the like the winter time, and it was cold, and like I guess over the it did snow prior, so sometimes maybe during the day the snow melts, and it goes on the roads and the streets, and then it freezes at night, and then you get something called black ice. And yeah, I'll never forget this. The road kind of turned, and all of a sudden my car started swerving, and I had no control, in the panic, and the heart chakra was pounding worse than that time in the sauna, and I started. Thank God there was no one on the road, and I lost total control of the car. I never experienced this in my life. It's the only time, and I had thank God there was no one there, and I just went, and then there was a little patch of grass on the side, and then the wheels, and I was in the grass, and then the friction, and then the car just stopped, and I sat there for about a minute just to collect myself, and I never experienced anything like that in my life, and I couldn't move. I had it in park, and I was in the grass, and then I collected myself, and I drove home very slowly. I don't think my mother even knows this story. She will know it today because she always watches. I never told anyone. I lived through it, and I also feel like when it does snow, this is why in the subconscious I'm terrified in a certain case, because I know, like, I don't want to be on the roads. I don't want to drive. I'm scared of because I went through something like that. When you lose control of a car, and I'm grateful to God, and just to have the experience, to have the learning of it, and not. It could have been if there was a wall there, if there was another car. I had no control. A lot of people, you might live up north in the cold, and you might have had an experience of black ice. So sometimes in life, and that's why I talk about things that are maybe invisible. That was an invisible thing. So, maybe when you see snow on the roads or literal ice and stuff, but this was something that you didn't see, and it just came up out of nowhere. And so I don't like the cold weather. Okay. And so that's the traumas of the past. We got to let go of these things. We pass it forward. So I'm teaching millions of people today, talking about these traumas. So when you go through a time period, and not, maybe I'll leave a message today. This is when I talk about the light workers and doing things to pushing it forward. Maybe one person will hear the story today, and they're going to say, you know what, I'm going to stay home, and I'm not going to go out in the ice. And maybe you help them out, save their life, save them from a crash. And that's also why when it gets cold like that and there's snow and stuff, look, the birds are chirping. I don't know if the mic's picking it up. You hear it? The birds are here. There he is. They're always showing up. I hear something else in the sky showing up at the same time. So we could see the matrix and nature At the same time, this is an example right now. I don't know if you hear the other thing. You got the Matrix going, right? So what are we witnessing right now? We got the Matrix going. We heard the birds chirping, and we are in the timeline bifurcation. Click the like button. We're in the timeline bifurcation. We're teaching live. We're in the timeline bifurcation. So you have the Matrix doing its Matrix things. You got God. You got nature doing its things, and you got two timelines. You got two frequencies. We got the storm of the storms right now, and it's up to you to which one. Are you going to go with the birds, or are you going to go with that noise? Okay, do you want to hear the birds chirping every day, or do you want to hear that, all the noise and the chaos every day? Do you want to listen to mainstream media every day, or do you want to tune into Our Everyday Lives, the #1 YouTube channel? I appreciate if you click subscribe. Don't you love it? And these are the messages that we need to do better in 2026 and beyond. Galactic Plagues Games, thank you so much for the super chat. I'm very grateful for the support. We are here playing a galactic game for sure. I appreciate you. Thank you. Yeah, Dragons the Fourth writes there are different timelines just the other day. Yeah, and we felt this. Anyone that's new, you could check out. I really let it all go the other night. You got to let it go. Yeah, different. So and those are frequencies. And earlier on my journey, I love you, Sharon. I just love you being here. Just pray for me. That's all I need. We're gonna get 1 million subscribers here. I appreciate that. We got to get the word out. That's all I need. That's all I care about. Okay. And that's, I tell other people, in life, you gotta have a vocation. See, I have a vocation in life. I show up here. I'm eager to do the work every single day, 9 a.m. Eastern time. You have to have a vocation in life. If that resonates, I appreciate if you just click subscribe. All right. I'm one man doing this. We're trying to serve the people. All right. And as we're going into 2026 and beyond, it's just a positive feedback loop. All right. And, I'm grateful for the people that say, I don't normally click subscribe, but I did it for you. That's very meaningful because this is more of a movement. This is to improve the lives of other people. When you tune into this station, it's the Our Everyday Lives station. I appreciate you. So that was actually a major trauma that I'm actually not on a daily basis. I don't, focus on it, but there's something in my subconscious, so I could share it to other people. And those that know my hatred for the snow, these are the things that because it's like I have to shut my life down because you got to be terrified to drive in those conditions. And then my friend shared a story, and she was in a Jeep, and that thing lost control too. So there's certain times in life. It doesn't matter how much protection, what you have, this and that. There's nothing that you could do. There's nothing that you could do in life. Sometimes we have to stop, and God will get us to stop. And I think right now, especially in the United States, people need to stop. People need to say, you know what? What's really going on? I have to reassess my life. I have to reassess my everyday life. Celestial Gatekeeper, thank you so much for the super chat. I'm very grateful for the support. Be the new timeline. Thanks, Mike. I love you. We're all going to be the new timeline right now. We are the timeline. Just like we're the solar flash. I love you, Cristal. I love you. Yeah. Maybe I needed to tell you. It was the most scariest thing I've ever been through, especially if you're driving through the mountains like that. I love you too, Cristal. We're going to be popping bottles real soon. Pop the bottles of Cristal. Oh, the bottles are popping in the chat right now. Yeah, listen, I'm telling you this. And again, it's frustrating. And that's why, so we have to do things in our life. Okay. Sometimes we're uncomfortable. And so this, when I talk about being a victim, not being a victim, so on and so forth, like I lived in a city, and in that cold and in that stuff. And then I said, you know what, I want to do something different with my life. So for a period of time, and this was a lot of stress, this was so much stress for me. I had to do things, I had to go into the unknown, I had to relocate, I had to do these things. And if I sat there in fear and say I'm a victim because it's sometimes in life we have to do it. We must do it. And God will give us the bricks to build our kingdom. And God gave me bricks to build the kingdom. Sometimes in life we have to have faith. Sometimes in life we have to let go. Did it really just hit 100? I used to joke around with my friend John. He might be watching at some point. I'm gonna send it. And I said, "What are you, sleeping on a bed of silver?" He's like, "Oh, I gotta buy all the silver." I said, there he is, sleeping in a bed of silver. Oh, my Lord. Yeah, the snow, listen, so I encourage everyone. Everyone should watch that video when I was out in the snow recently. I appreciate the support for that. So I put myself in these conditions. I don't like it, but I do it. And I encourage everyone. So what I do when I teach about physical wellness, spiritual wellness, mental wellness, sometimes to toughen ourselves up, we have to put ourselves in that situation. So I literally put, even though I don't love the cold and stuff like that, sometimes when we put ourselves in that situation, it makes us stronger and better. Maj 1111, thank you so much for the super chat. I'm very grateful. Yeah, let's throw up 1111s because this is the 1 year. This is the time of new beginnings. This is the time of great change. It's got to be new. There's a lot of crazy stuff. There's a lot of crazy stuff out there, Amy. We could use the sunshine ray. Amy, can you shine your ray of sun and help the people out so it doesn't get too much cold? I think that I'm very big when these events happen, when we as a community we pray and focus our attention. I think what we need to do is it's going to come through, but after it comes through, that the sun really melts it quick, because it could be devastating to certain people. I witnessed, I shared this the other day, that the traumas of this. See, a lot of I keep teaching about this. When the solar energy comes in, it brings up the traumas of the past. And I had to watch I had 3 grandparents, and I watched all of them every single year prior to 2020, and to watch them all pass away. And if you have elderly people and there's emergencies and stuff, we can't have everything frozen and shut down. So prayers and things, positivity is important at this time. Cristal, I love you. Cristal writes, stay centered and in our Christ consciousness. I love you, Cristal. 444, baby. Yeah. And it's really it's really about being the good shepherd. That's what it's about. Yeah. There is a storm coming through the United States right now. And sometimes, the physical things are right there, but there's something happening in the background. Well, what's happening in the background? There's a lot of people that are maybe tuned in, and you say to yourself, you know what, maybe there's things happening in the background. Is that you? When we realize that the subconscious, so you, the person that's getting this message, you are one person, the micro and the macrocosm. So in the world right now, so say the world subconscious, there are things that are happening in the background. It happens in a physical thing. So for you, when you change in your subconscious, your life changes. So maybe in the United States, maybe in the world, there are things that are happening in the background, and those things that happen in the background are more important than the things that you see in the surface. Maybe there's, on the surface of the earth, there's going to be a foot of snow, or in certain areas, thick ice or whatever it is. But it's not about the surface level. It's about, what's underneath, what's going on beneath, in the background, that you don't see these things. And that's actually the more important attributes of the world. And if those things, that hidden work isn't done, there will never be any change. So that hidden work must be done. So it's really not about the surface level ice. It is in the subconscious. So as you have a subconscious, the world has a subconscious as well. And I hope a lot of people are resonating with today's message. Sonia, thank you so much for the super chat. I love you. I'm very grateful. 1111. Thank you so much for that. Very grateful. Grateful for the community. Grateful for the support. Daytona Dream Girl 1111 writes, do the shadow work. Absolutely. Last year I did a ton of shadow work. Oh yeah, baby. You actually have to do this shadow work. And if you don't, you don't move forward in life. There were a lot of things last year. I said, why do I have to deal with this? Why am I why am I experiencing this, God? Why am I going through it? But when we go through pain, and if you think about the world in a post-2020 world, there's been a lot of pain. But when you go through pain, so now in a personal level, that's called shadow work. So when you go out and you say, well, why is the whole world going through this? Well, this is the only way we actually get to a great change. So that quote-unquote shadow work, that quote-unquote nervous system reset, that quote-unquote clearing and wiping the slate clean for the subconscious. Sometimes you got to shut it down, sunshine. Mr. Sunshine. We're going to need that. We're going to need that sunshine. We're going to shine it really brightly. We're going to shine it real bright. So, yeah, Cheryl, it's the land of the brave. You got to be brave. You got to be a lion. Are you a lion? Are you a lion, or are you a hyena? I teach about lions and hyenas on this channel. You learn a lot about life, people, and society when you study nature. I'm always studying nature, bro. Are you a lion or are you a hyena? And when you start to, peel back these things and you say, wow, okay, now I got to be a lion. You don't want to be a hyena. Are you worried about gossip? Or are you the king? Are you the lioness, beautiful lioness queen? Or are you yapping away? Are you talking about, are you living in filth, acting in filth? It's just the way of the world right now. There's a lot of people that are concerned with drama. Save the drama for your mama, okay? Yeah, Mr. Sandman might bring us a dream girl, So during this time when you're inside, you don't want to go. Listen carefully to the message that's coming through, right? This is the godly message here. When you got to go inside, you're going to stay home, all right? Are you going to go on and watch the silly, short form, social media stuff? Or are you going to start diving deep and you're going to start expanding your consciousness and you're going to start studying things and you're going to say, my God, there's a whole nother reality out there during the timeline bifurcation, and you're leaving one timeline in the storm and you're heading over to another timeline. Are you ready? Galactic Game Plays Games, thank you so much for the super chat. Galactic writes, humans only see 0.0035 of the light spectrum. We walk by faith, not by sight. Absolutely. I appreciate the super chat, the beautiful words. Yeah. You're only seeing a small fraction. You will see ice. You will see the ice in the cold and the snow. But what is actually the stuff that's actually going on during the storm for the United States, you're not actually seeing it. I hope everyone clicks like today. I hope everyone clicks share today and get this out to the world, because this is what it actually looks like from a spiritual level, from an energetic level. And if I resonate with you, you could click subscribe. I do this every day. 9 a.m. Eastern. Yeah, and this is a great. It's really a great time. This is a 1 year. It's a time to reevaluate. All right. There's no the linear time is fake. It's not about, oh, it's too late. The year started already. At any moment on a random Tuesday, on a random Friday, we could put our foot down and say, this is the moment. I'll be the catalyst for you. I'm a catalyst for many people. You say, you know what? I gotta start living better. I gotta start implementing these things. And actually, it's very powerful. I teach other men even to be vulnerable. I was scared, in that event that happened with the ice for me years ago. It's a terrifying thing. It's terrifying to live through. You got no control. So when we do these things and we're speaking out to the universe, that's why I shared the other night. I left a very powerful message. I hope everyone can grab yourself a cup of coffee. Watch at least the first 45 minutes of that talk. You'll never see a talk like that ever again. You got to realize that the word needs to be heard. When I speak right now, I share this with maybe Cristal just wrote it too. Maybe you say, you know what, I needed to hear this. Maybe I shouldn't go out in the ice. Maybe I shouldn't go swirling down the mountain. Maybe I got. So the words need to be heard, and we can improve the lives of other people. Heck, it's called Our Everyday Lives. We can improve the lives of people simply by being heard. It was funny before. I was waiting. Those birds showed up on the tree, and then that helicopter sound came at the same, and then they all disappeared. So this is the quantum, right? I'm out here, right? It'll be probably 40, 45 minutes total, and then throughout the whole thing, at the same time, the birds come, and at the same time, the sound of the helicopter had to come, and then the rest of the time, now the birds don't come back. It's at the same time. That's the storm. Sometimes we are in, again, as I shared, the bifurcation, the timelines. We are in the bottleneck of time. Sometimes there's everything all at once, and then there's silence, right? So what I do on this channel, especially when you're doing your manifestation, you are doing things in your life. Not all days are created equal. Did you know this? At an energetic level, not all days are the same. And I was thinking about this the other day. I do a lot of my walks and stuff, and some days I've been out in the cold and the wind was blowing. So that's a different experience. Than if there was no wind. So certain days in our life we could create great change, and some days it's like, oh, I can't really get the change going right now because you're not supportive. So what I do on this channel, you're going to click subscribe. As we go throughout the year, there literally are time periods where it is the time to for the harvest, if you will. Do these things, and then there's times that you got to go inside. In the upcoming days, the storm is going through, so we're seeing this in a physical level. So now it's time to go inside. You don't want to be driving, or I want to go on a trip. I want to do this. I heard we had a family member. My mom was telling me this. It recently it snowed in New York, and sadly there was a time and someone needed to move, and it had to be, she had to leave the house, and it had to be done, and the moving truck was there, and sadly it it had to happen on the day that it snowed. So it was so much harder to do it then. If it happened any other day, she could have made that move a lot easier. But it was just that everything came at that time. So in the course of our life, and I lived through this. There was a time period of my life. You could listen to me daily if you hear me for the first time. I went through 2 years. I went through more stress in 2 years than I did for the rest of my life combined. Maybe you're getting this message today and you say, you know what, all of a sudden, so God puts us in seasons. And I would not be here today with the kingdom that I've built, community that I've built, with becoming the man that I am today, if God did not give me that 2 years. What, I couldn't believe it. I said, is this even real? It's the quantum coming alive. Cheryl Bibbins, thank you so much for the super chat. I'm very grateful for the support. So yeah, and again, you put things out, and it's a brutal shift. It's brutal. Sometimes it's brutal. But again, that's why you have to, if you want different levels in your life, if you want to ascend, if you will, and it's a free will inner decision, then you say, okay, I have to go through this, otherwise I'll never change. So if you wanted, great change for your life, sometimes we have to go through the storm. Sometimes we have to go through the storm. I appreciate everyone in the chat right now. Beautiful comments coming in. I appreciate everyone. It's very meaningful. It does bring up trauma. And I've been sharing this. This is a very powerful year. I know there's always new people that are coming in. There's people that show up every day. You got to really hear me. You got to hear me. And I know what I'm saying. It's going to sound very strange. Okay, this is a beautiful, abundant, great year. And we're going to look at this at two lenses. Okay? It is going to go the opposite way. It's going to look like it's getting worse. Okay, I recently did a video on this, the Bridge of Incidents. If anyone's new, you got to watch that video. You got to keep watching it. And I know I'm saying it as well. I said, why is this? This is going the wrong way. Okay. You could see everything. Your finances dry up. Your work dries up. Okay. You put out love and then the person runs away from you, whatever it is, you will see this. And we're seeing this as the collective. And then we're going through the Bridge of Incidents. So, when you see this stuff and you're going to see and the traumas are going to rise up to the surface. You're going to see all these things. It's going to get real intense. Okay. Gabe writes exactly. This is what we're going through. And that's what I'm here to motivate you. I'm here to, I'm delivering the message. I'm making you be aware. You got to be aware of these things. You got to be aware that this is actually happening. Okay. I love you, Bay Area believer. I love you, brother. Thanks for being here since the beginning. Beautiful time that we're in. I appreciate that, Fit Brit. I'm the best consciousness coach ever. I love you. Very meaningful words. Very meaningful. I appreciate you, Andy. Thank you for becoming a channel member, Andy. Very grateful for the support. So this is a time period that it is time to go within. There is something that's happening beneath the surface or in the subconscious. We can see the correlation of the massive solar flash event and the energies that are happening on the world. See the helicopter came back, right? That's a big one. There's a big one. I can't see it. All right. The mic's picking it up. And the whole army's coming. Look at this. There he is. I see him. There's a big one. And you can't get distracted in life. Let it pass, go, and then you go right back. Okay? That's what you got to do. All right? Yeah, there's big energy on this channel. Poppy loves you. I appreciate you. So take the time to really assess your life. No, we must go through it. And this is a time to clear past traumas. And the people of the world have to clear it away, and humanity as a whole. Remember, we're all part of the collective. We're all part of humanity. So there's stuff that's deep within the surface. So that's called shadow work. and we're all doing the shadow work together. So I appreciate each and every one of you. I'm so grateful. Before I get off, if you could hit that like button so that others will get this throughout the day, because the storm of the century is here, and maybe you want to find a place that you want to get information from. You want to get the energy themes on a daily basis. We have daily videos at 9 a.m. Eastern time to help you become the greatest version of yourself. Let's get back into balance. Let's get back into alignment, because that's what's happening right now. We have to get back into balance. We have to get back into alignment. And if we don't get our course redirected, then sometimes we're going off road. Sometimes and sometimes we could slip on the ice and go off the road. So yeah, I wanted to leave this message today. I love each and every one of you. To like, comment, share is very powerful. And please check out the videos that are on the channel page. And if you are new, we got playlists. Put the top 25 of last year waiting for you. Every day there's new people showing up. It's just divine timing. I appreciate each and every one of you and the support for the channel. Obviously, the best thing, it really does make a difference when you click the like button for me. I'm very grateful for you doing that. I'm just one man doing this, and the support for the people. If you share the channel with a friend, I'm just doing this alone, and this is what God set me out to do, so that I could show other people that you could do it. And this is the way of the world right now. So be a positive beacon of love, Joseph writes. That's what we need in this world right now. We need a positive beacons of love. So I'm going to get off. If you happen to come in, you could watch the replay. It's going to come right back up. There'll be links at the end of this in the description. I am the defender of our everyday lives. No matter what comes your way, light warriors, just keep going. And Francois, I hope I said it right. Thank you so much, Francis, for the super chat. I love you. I'm very grateful. Everyone hit me up on Facebook. The Facebook is growing. I post all day on Facebook. I'm gonna share the exploding trees, and let me know about the exploding trees. Do you think it can happen? All right. I think maybe it can happen. I don't know. Exploding trees. So, and if anyone is able to capture that on a, I would be interested in seeing that. Does it? If anyone could capture that, we'll share that on Facebook as well. All right. So I love you all. And it continues all day long. There's so much information to get out to the people. And if you're getting this message, it really is time to change your life. You feel this. This is the 111 year. So you're going to get through the storm. Okay, kid. I love you guys. I love you. A love for life. I love you too. Thank you very much. Love you all. Bye for now.